Greetings and welcome to this episode of Everyday Enchantment. I'm your host, Stacey Andon. And today I want to talk about something that I think I have spoken to almost every client I've ever worked with. I talk about it with all my friends. It's being less productive. Now, one would think that being less productive means nothing gets actually done, completed, finished. And yet, I actually think being less productive is the way to get things completed and finished. So, let me give you an example. I had years ago a client who wanted to take some kind of workout class, right? This great exercise, moving your body and all of that. And she couldn't bring herself to it. It was one more thing. And I want you to think if you are that person listening right now and you have so many things, right? And a lot of the things are meant to be taking care of yourself. Drink more water, work out, you know, do some more meditation, whatever the case may be, when you are cramming, and we tend to cram our lives, right? This thing to this thing to this thing, that we need more things in order to be a better human on the planet, in order to be a better parent, in order to be a better spouse or partner, or worker, whatever we're doing for work on the planet, that we need to create and do more. So my thought to this client and to myself all the time is, what if you could take it off your to-do list, right? Take it off, like just let it be and create some time. I want you to think of all the ways you could be unproductive right now. So maybe it's like staring out the window with, like, I've got like the best cup of tea here. So a great cup of tea or coffee and just staring out the window. I know it sounds crazy. Or driving somewhere you love and like playing your favorite music and just being in the moment, like not getting on the phone, not listening to a podcast, have the windows down if it's warm enough, and be in some space where there is no end goal. There is no, I'm trying to do this to create whatever. I have a destination, I have an agenda, I have a result that I'm trying to make. Pockets of places in your day, in your week, where you do not do anything that seemingly sounds productive. So maybe you just let the pile of laundry pile up for the afternoon. You let the dishes stay in the sink. Whatever little dust there is on the house, on the shelves, in the wherever, you let it be for a bit. I truly believe the more we pack, or like pack our lives, the less we actually get done and the less we feel like we're getting done, because there's always the next thing. One thing to one thing to one thing. Creating more spacious gaps in our life, I think, actually is, at least for me and all the women, and I have worked with a lot of people over the years, a way to get what we want that doesn't feel like it's working harder. You know me, I don't want any of us to have to work harder to create what we want. So, how can we work less? And it really matters that you are doing something that doesn't have a hidden agenda. Okay, well, I'm going to hang out here, right, for some whatever reason, because it's going to, I don't know, be good for my whatever that reason is. I want you to have no reasons. There is no reason except this feels good and I want to do it. Take the afternoon off. Go to your favorite topiary garden and walk around. Do something that feels absolutely for the sheer pleasure of it. Or maybe there's no pleasure. Maybe that's also another little hidden agenda. And again, like, I like this idea of, like, if you just sat in a chair or on your couch or somewhere and you daydreamed and it was so seemingly unproductive, that you were able to, again, create breathing room for yourself, create gaps. There's a beautiful expression that, and I don't know if Deepak Chopra, he was the one that taught it to me when I worked for the Chopra Center, but I don't know whether or not it was like an original quote by him, but this idea that there's a gap between thoughts. And that's where all the magic, this is Stacey interpretation. I think he said something like the field of infinite potential, right? Between that space between our minds. My mind is racing all the time. It's not a matter of trying to fight the mind, it's inserting something that gives us the practice and opportunity to find and discover that gap. It's not forcing ourselves into the gap. It's allowing, it's like if you went bird watching, right? You don't know what kind of birds you're going to see. You're just creating the environment by going out somewhere and allowing whatever magic to ensue or not to ensue. There's no perfect practice where you have to get into the gap every time. However, the less the less unproductive we are, I find we don't really actually get to be in the gap, which is where your intuition is speaking to you and hanging out. All that wisdom of your sacred self, your soul, your heart guidance system, all of that is not in the, oh my gosh, I have to hustle, I have to get done, I have to be busy, I have to da 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 da. And with spring, kind of like just tapping on our toes here in this part of the world, I think that the energy starts to feel, right, like it's starting to ramp up a little bit. Winter is coming hopefully closer to a close soon in the next couple of weeks. And so we feel that energy. And I think a lot of times then we over, right? We're overdoing, we're over. And I want you to find the place where, again, there's nothing that needs to change or be done in order for this moment to be perfect. I know that's like a big belief to sit in, that nothing in this moment needs to change. So if you're frustrated, you're in pain, you've just had a fight with somebody you love, you can be in a complete, whole, beautiful moment and not think that the future or the past is any better than right here. I know it's not the easiest thing to wrap our heads around, which is what I think being unproductive is all about. It's not letting the head be in charge. And it is a practice, and it is something, again, start small. Do it for 5 or 10 minutes. Do it for a half an hour once a week. See how you feel. You know, and I know we all know this, when we're working on something and it's not coming, and you take a break and you go do something else, and then like it all comes through. That is always how it works for me. That's the premise around this. Except I don't want you to go do something like, oh, I got to go do laundry and housework, and or I've got to go, take somebody somewhere and do this and do that, and like all of that is wonderful. That's part of the human life experience. I want you to see if you can commit to being unproductive with me and with all of us who are here, changing the planet, rewriting the path forward by doing it very differently than the ways that we've been taught. So, in order to create something new, right? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. If you're just always feeling busy or tired or just like on to the next thing, and you want to feel more of the enchantment of life, let's find the place where we just like I can see myself just sitting on a lawn chair. You ever do this when you're on vacation and you maybe have a magazine, maybe you don't, and you're just soaking in the sunshine, listening to the birds or whatever's around you. Doesn't that feel divine? I just think sounds amazing. Going to a coffee shop and just hanging out there. Mm, Okay. So let me know what you think. I absolutely love this idea, especially like I said, as we're going to be crossing, not quite yet, but crossing into seasons where the next season's going to have a lot more energy pinging at us. And it's going to ask us to be more intentional with exactly how we want to plan our days, our hours, our minutes, our seconds. So give yourself plenty of seconds that already are whole and complete. All right. If you are loving on this, then I think that it would be perfect to pop on over to my Everyday Enchantment Facebook group. Be part of the conversation, be part of this lifestyle, come into a coaching program with me because this is the work that I do, helping people really unwire and rewire and reset themselves so they can listen and do the things they truly want and not just kind of rinse, lather, repeat. All right, beautifuls. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Until then, have a beautiful, beautiful day. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. Get all the delicious details and links we've mentioned in this episode in the show notes below. If you'd like to chat about this episode or learn more about how to work with me, come visit me in my private Facebook group, Everyday Enchantment, or check out my website, staceyandon.com, where you can find out more about my Leap of Faith coaching, my Map Makers group program, and the School of Intuitive Magic. Plus a special shout out for all the production and editing of this show by Richard Wilmore. That's it for now, love. Here's to living a life enchanted. See you soon.